All right, welcome. Today we are pointing our cosmic telescope directly at the Zodiac's most free-spirited explorer, the one and only Sagittarius. We're going to get right into their sensual side and figure out what really gets this fire sign going.
I mean, that's the million-dollar question, right? Whether you're all in on astrology or just, a little bit curious, sexual astrology is a fascinating way to look at those hidden desires that make us who we are. So let's see what it has to say about our friend the Archer.
So first things first, to really get what makes a Sagittarius tick in the bedroom, we have to understand their basic personality. Because for them, the way they approach life and the way they approach love, they're pretty much the same thing. And this right here is their cosmic DNA. As a mutable fire sign, a Sagittarius is all about change, movement, and just exploring. Then you add in their ruling planet, Jupiter, the literal giant of our solar system. It's the planet of luck, growth, and big adventure. You put those two together, and you've basically set the stage for everything they do. So when you look at these traits all together, you start to see a pretty clear picture. A Sagittarius is that person at the party who's just buzzing with energy, super chatty, and always looking on the bright side. But underneath all that is this deep, deep need for freedom. They cannot stand routine, and they absolutely thrive on spontaneity. It's what makes them such natural flirts who just want to have fun with their friends. Okay, so how does this adventurous soul act in the bedroom? Now that we kind of get their personality, let's pull back the curtain and talk about what a Sagittarian lover is really like. Honestly, this quote just nails it. For Sagittarius, the biggest turn-on isn't some specific thing. It's a feeling. It's the thrill of exploration. Seriously, adventure is their #1 aphrodisiac, and they are always on the hunt for that next exciting moment. Which brings us right to their main kink, novelty. Just the idea of trying something new. Spontaneity and experimentation are what get them excited. Doing something for the very first time, or maybe in a place where they're not supposed to be, yeah, that's their jam. And think about what that looks like in the real world. They love the thrill of maybe getting caught, sex in a tent, in a car, or sneaking off at a party. They get bored to tears by predictability. So yeah, they're probably going to be the one to suggest trying new positions, new toys, or even exploring things like open relationships. It's all about keeping things interesting. So let's break that down even more. How does this constant need for something new actually shape their style in bed? Well, it's really less about a specific set of moves and more about a whole philosophy of just having fun. The key thing to understand here is that Sagittarius does not take sex super seriously. It's not this heavy, intense thing for them. It's just an extension of their playful, optimistic self. They are absolutely the partner who will crack a joke, laugh in the middle of everything, and see a chance for a quickie as just another awesome part of the day. So, if we were to map it out, it might look a little something like this. It all kicks off with some playful teasing, which they absolutely love. Then, you've got the thrill of picking a spontaneous spot. The main event is all about passionate experimentation, but it often leads to what our sources call the Speedy Gonzales climax. Yep, they can be famously quick. Wham, bam, and on to the next adventure. Now here's where things get pretty interesting, because there's a big difference between the Sagittarian woman and the man. The woman channels that adventurous spirit into the outdoors. That's her playground. She's a pro at the stop-and-start teasing technique, but funnily enough, she usually prefers straightforward sex over a bunch of complicated toys. The man, though, he is the classic free spirit. He loves the one he's with, tends to have a lot of different affairs, and often explores bisexuality. As one source puts it, pretty bluntly, he can be as amoral as an alley cat. So with this boundless, freedom-loving spirit, who can actually keep up with him? Let's take a look at which signs make the best partners for our cosmic archer. And that's a really good question, because a relationship with a Sagittarius requires a partner who can either match that crazy energy or, at the very least, give them the space they need to do their thing. Clinginess is their absolute kryptonite. This table just shows the two extremes perfectly. You take a fellow fire sign like Leo, and it is an amazing match. Sagittarius brings the spark and the ideas, and Leo just eats it up with admiration and affection. It's a super fun, dynamic combo. But then you put them with a sensitive water sign like Pisces, and it's a total cosmic clash. The archer feels trapped by Pisces' cautious nature and, frankly, finds their slower, more emotional lovemaking style to be a total bore. It just becomes a recipe for frustration for everyone involved. So, after digging into all of these cosmic tendencies, you got to ask the big question, right? What is the actual point of all this? Is our personality just set in stone by the stars? Maybe the best way to look at it is like this. Your birth chart isn't your destiny, it's your geography. It shows you the natural terrain of your personality, your personal mountains and oceans, your strengths, your challenges. It's simply the landscape of you. There's a quote from our source material that I think just puts this perfectly. An astrology chart is like a roadmap. It can show you all the routes and maybe point out some tricky terrain up ahead, but you would never let the map decide your vacation destination for you. It shows you what you're working with, but you are always the one in the driver's seat. Which kind of leaves us with this final thought to chew on. Is your birth chart a strict set of rules that defines who you are, or is it a tool, a kind of map that can help you navigate your own inner world and figure out what truly makes you happy? That's definitely something to think about.